Dorking Fangirls, where we talk all things nerdy, book, TV, movie, pop culture, fandoms, and how they integrate into our adult lives. I'm Christine.
And I'm Natasha.
And today we are recording our last episode of 2024, one of our favorite episodes to record every year. This is our third year running. We're doing our top 24 moments of 2024. So like the moments that made our years this year. It's always like a very personal, fun story time to run through all the things we really, really loved happening this year. Before that, though, we're going to roll into Snap Crackle Pop Culture News, our last Snap Crackle Pop Culture News of 2024.
End of season 2.
End of season 2. Oh my God. We're going to roll into season 3 of the show?
That's bonkers.
That is bonkers. Oh my gosh. What do you have for us in the news today, Natasha?
Chris Evans is returning for Marvel The Avengers Doomsday.
Wait, Chris? Oh!
Yeah. I'm like,
Captain America is back, baby.
Yeah, so RDJ's back, and now Chris. There's no details on like who he's playing or what, we don't know exactly what he's going to be doing in the movie yet.
But
it's exciting. I'm glad
exciting.
We have some original cast returning. That'll spice things up. It definitely does feel like, they're trying to capture the essence of what it used to be. It's not ever going to
capture.
recap. It's not ever going to be like that again. But
having RDJ there really, brings in some big muscle to make it good.
Yes.
And I'm excited about that.
Me too. I don't think this movie is coming out until 2027 or 28. I can't remember. But it's a while away.
Well, they have a lot of time to make it good. That's exciting. Last today in Taylor Swift news of the year. We're recording this December 13th, so it is Taylor Swift's 35th birthday, which is bonkers to me.
Taylor.
Happy birthday, Taylor Swift. You're a year older than me still. It's comforting. And I thought for our last Taylor Swift news of the year, we can both say one of our favorite Taylor Swift moments of the year. Do you have one, Natasha?
Why don't you go first?
All right. Well, this is one that happened recently, but honestly, it was such an exciting moment. And I was so giddy and my heart was flipping out when she came on stage with the new Reputation outfit, finally, after hundreds of shows. And the audience reaction was crazy. Everyone watching the live stream was crazy. We were all clowning for Rep TV for the last year and a half, and it hasn't happened. But I'm glad she gave us a new Reputation suit. And I was the circumstances of me watching was I was literally on a walk with my neighbors, walking Bellamy and watching the live stream. And my neighbor couldn't come on this walk, like Cynthia, who likes Taylor Swift, but her husband was on this walk. And he was like, oh, I like this part. This is the transition with the click-clacking of the heels. And I was like, yeah, it is. And we're like walking down the street and we run into my neighbor who's like in her 50s that also loves Taylor Swift. And she's like, are you watching the live stream? And I'm like, I am. And she's like, me too. And then she came out with the outfit and we both started screaming and jumping, and it was like such a moment. And that was the night when she was like, Dawn, Dawn, and
with the rain
pouring and lightning. It was great. Yes, with the rain. Ugh, it was awesome. It was like when Taylor controlled the weather, and it was during her, debuting her new rap outfit.
Mine definitely is when Travis Kelce was on stage, because this was the day after the Love Stereo ball.
Yes.
And Christine and I were at Disneyland, and we're freaking out.
We're in that restaurant.
We're like, oh my God. I'm like, we need to sit down. Sit down. We have to figure out what's going on. He's on stage.
Gosh, when we opened up our socials,
I rewatched that moment so many times from so many different angles.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was
a beautiful day.
Yeah. It's just
Taylor Swift land.
so fun, so surprising to see. I love to see them love each other out loud.
And Taylor Swift was at a children's hospital yesterday in Kansas talking to all the kids and signing stuff and taking pictures, and it was so sweet. I don't know if anyone caught any of the videos on socials, but there are quite a few.
Yeah, this girl Naya, she seemed to be like the most excited, but she had Taylor like in a video with her, like a TikTok video, and then she posted a video of her interacting with Taylor. Very cute. Love to see it.
Wait, there was like a TikTok video where they like lip sync something?
Yes, they sang something from Rep, and then like Taylor's behind the hospital curtain, and then she opens it up and she comes Bad Blood. Sorry, not Rep.
Oh my God. I didn't see it. I have to watch it. I saw them, I think, interacting. Next on the news, Doc, what do you got for us?
Okay, another casting news. Jeremy Allen White, who's in The Bear, he has been cast in the new Mandalorian and Grogu movie as Jabba the Hutt's son.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe it when you told me this. I was like, I don't know. Excuse me. Wait, what?
I'm like, okay, is he gonna look like Jabba the Hutt? Is he like, or is he a different alien? Like, is he biological?
Jabba the Hutt mate with, you know what it's giving? The demon worm version of Benedict from Clockwork Angel having another kid.
Okay, another like little news thing. And also, I want to know if it's going to be like animated, like if it's CGI. I have so many questions about this casting and this character. But
yeah, is he going to be a blob?
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
Okay. So Actors and Actors has been going live every single day. They've got so many cool pairings. Like Nicole Kidman and Zendaya just went live, Angelina Jolie and Cynthia Erivo, and then Ariana Grande and Paul Mescal. And I have been seeing so many people on TikTok fan casting the both of them as Meg and Hercules. And we all know how I feel about my Hercules. I don't like this.
I don't like this.
Paul is fine. He can sing. Like he's been on, musical theater. Like he just did SNL, whatever. But like, just because he was in Gladiator, like people see him as
like a Hercules.
As Hercules, because he's got the whole fit on in that movie.
Yeah, but he's not. He doesn't give the vibe.
Like I want to see big people.
You know who would give that vibe as a youth? Chris Evans.
Yeah,
he has the aura.
We need it. We need
Hercules.
Someone goofy, but like I think this is the opportunity. Just coming from me, the opportunity for Disney to cast someone who is curvy, who is plus size. Like they don't have that representation at all for Meg. Yes, and I think it's like biblically accurate for that time. I think, and I would like to see that.
Last thing with the movies I have on here is that It Ends With Us is on Netflix. Did you see?
I did see.
I was so shocked to see this come up. I was like, oh my God, how come I didn't know this was here? It's like the #1 movie on Netflix right now. And other things on the news, we have merch. Those Forking Fangirls. Natasha's wearing it right now. She's sporting the Comfort Colors Those Forking Fangirls friendship bracelet tee. We also have a sweatshirt that says TFF in the stylings of TTPD sweatshirts from Taylor Swift's website. And they're all available at thoseforkingfangirls.com or thoseforkingfangirls.com/store if you want to go directly there. And thank you so much for supporting the show in that way. If you have already gotten our merch, we hope you enjoy it. We love it. I've been wearing my sweatshirt all the time. And if you didn't know, I'm an author. Hi, my name's Christine. I write books that with the goal of making people feel seen and happy, who are like nerdy, introverty people, but also like late bloomers. They're really like late bloomer rom-coms. And if that was a category at Barnes & Noble, they'd be popped under there. And they're called Can't Move Better, Better Together, and Attached at the Hip, which is my most recent one. They're all separate stories, so you don't have to read the other ones to read one of them. Yeah, you can read them out of order. But if you do read them in order, you will catch random Easter eggs and character overlap. Links in the show notes or wherever you buy your books. You can type in my name or type in the name of the books. They'll pop up. And they'd be great gifts, Christmas gifts, just like our merch. And if you read any of them and you enjoy them, something you can do that really helps me out is reviewing them wherever you got them or wherever you digested them. Because reviewing books on those different platforms is how other readers find the books. The websites will push them to more people when they're getting reviewed. I'm so appreciative of everyone who's went and taken a couple minutes to do that for me this year. Thank you so much. We're going to roll on into what's right now. You finished a book this week.
Finally. I finally finished Darker Mortal. And like, I want to say, obviously I didn't love the book because it took me so freaking long to get through it. But I think I still enjoyed it. It definitely set up for another one. Will I read it? I don't know. But I did enjoy it. I think it's better if you read it with your eyes. The audiobook was really killing me. So I would not recommend that. Someone just corrected me in the comments in the chat. It's Immortal Dark. It's not Dark Immortal. I definitely keep switching them. But now I don't know what I'm going to be reading next. I have an audiobook of the final book in the From Blood and Ash series by Jennifer L. Armentrout, but it's 40 hours.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, holy
Well, is it a good narrator?
Yeah. I mean, I love those books, but it's a really long. I think I want to take like a little short break from like a fantasy.
Take a fantasy break. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might wait until I have like I'm sewing something or where I can just sit through, because that's how I get through books so quickly is when I sew. Anyways, I haven't sewed anything in like a hot minute. Christine, take it away.
Yes. Well, I have been reading The Lost Story. I'm like a third of the way from the end. And I've only been reading it in the shower at night because I've been writing my own fourth novel pretty hard because it is due very, very soon. So I haven't been engrossed in a book. I am going to be reading Iron Flame via audiobook probably, and I'm going to bring the real book over the break because we have in the beginning of the new year what is the series called?
The Imperium, yeah.
The Empyrean series or something. Mm-hmm. We have a Fourth Wing episode coming up and an Iron Flame episode coming up in the new year. So if you have yet to read them, this is the time, because Onyx Storm, the third book in the series, is being released at the end of January. So it's time for me to fucking catch up. And if you remember, I was reading Iron Flame, having fun, vlogging it at the beginning of the year. And then House of Flame and Shadow came out. And I was like, sorry, I need to read this. So I put down Iron and Flame and I was like, I'll come back to it. But every time I've come back to it, I haven't gotten back into it because it's in the part where they're like not really together. I mean, I have at the 70% mark. So I'm like close to the end now, but it was just a lot of no Xaden, and I don't want no Xaden. I want lots of Xaden. Classic book 2 where the couple is apart for a lot of the time. Anyway, I'm going to get back to it.
Separate for a little bit.
No, they were separate for a lot of bit. Even when they're together, they're separate a lot of bit. There's all this stuff going on.
That's why you have to get the audiobook.
I did get the audiobook, but you know what's much better than the audiobook? The voice in my head.
Yeah, no. Taryn's voice is Henry Cavill in my head, and then in the audiobook it sounds like a grandpa.
Yeah, in my head he's like a cool grandpa, but in the audiobook he's like
like Gandalf.
I don't know, he just sounds like not cute. Like, in my head Tarnanak is Tarn.
Just say Tarn.
In my head Tarn is like a grumpy old man with a heart of gold, but in the audiobook he just sounds mean. Like, you know how you can hear the heart of gold in someone who has it, even if they're saying something mean, but like he just sounds mean. Anyway, I've been reading the Lost Story. I feel like I know exactly what's going to happen, though, so I'm not enjoying it as much as I enjoyed her first book, where it was just like at every turn it was so exciting and also so nostalgic. The Lost Story is more, I don't like one of the story mechanisms in it, which is like one of the characters has amnesia. That tends to really eat at me. All right, what have you been watching this week?
I rewatched Bridgerton. Why is this funny? Okay,
I don't know. But it's been a hot second since you rewatched.
You know why it's funny? It's because it's not surprising. I had to rewatch it because of Jonathan Bailey.
Oh my God.
Shut up. I had to rewatch it because of Jonathan Bailey. After Wicked.
I can't hear you.
After Wicked, because I was also watching Fellow Travelers at the same time, and it's too sad, and I needed Happy Johnny. Okay,
he's not happy.
He's angry and
flustered,
but I still love him.
I do too.
But then, okay, so then I'm moving into season 3. I was like, okay, I guess I haven't rewatched season 3 from like beginning to end. I think I only did it once. But I watched it through the lens of Johnny Bailey, and he's so fun in season 3.
Johnny now,
because that's what he likes to be called by his friends. And I am his friend.
Jonathan Bailey. He just feels like a Jonathan to me because he's so like serious in Bridgerton.
Well, all of his co-stars call him Johnny.
I know. Well, because why would they call him Jonathan? That's such a fancy title. But
I had a cousin named Jonathan. We called him Jonathan.
You called him Jonathan?
Mm-hmm.
I've never called a Jonathan by their full name. Except for him.
Jonathan. It's 3 syllables, just like my name. Natasha.
Yeah, so is mine. Christine.
You have 2 syllables. I actually was just thinking about that while we did our intros.
That's so weird because there's 9 letters.
You have more letters than I do. I've got 7.
I know. That's why I was saying it's weird that it's only 2 syllables.
Christine. Anyways, so I rewatched Bridgerton, and I think like here it goes. Season 2 is number 1. Season 1 is number 2, and season 3 is number 3 in
this is such a weird
in my
head boggle.
I know. Okay. Anyways, so I rewatched that for Johnny. And then I started watching Sex Lives of College Girls, and then
Yes.
They've written out Renee Rapp.
Did you not know this was going to happen?
No!
I've been mentally preparing for like a year.
I didn't know
can't
this
believe
was
I didn't
happening.
know this. I've rewatched this show so many times, so I knew everything about it. But yeah, she like after the end of season 2, they were like, she's not going to be coming back for season 3 because like she's going to be on tour and she's got all these movies coming out, and like the timing is just not going to work for her career and her future. I was very sad at the end of last season because her character had the best arc.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because they gave her like her really great arc, she's kind of she can move on without us feeling unsatisfied, you know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm glad she came back for a little bit.
Yeah, and she came back for the first 2 episodes so that it would make sense for her character.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd be okay with it. And I think they could always bring her back in if they wanted to, and she wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Sophie said I need to get HBO again just to watch the new season. It's not all out yet. Wait.
Yeah, there's 4 episodes. The 4th one came out yesterday, so.
Oh, I have that to watch today.
Me too. I'm going to watch it during lunch. I'm excited.
I also have to say, Laura said tragic because the first half of season 3 was so good. And in my rewatch, I was like, this is so good.
Oh, you're talking about Bridgerton now,
Bridgerton.
Right?
Sorry, I went back to Bridgerton. I agree. I think the first half of season 3 is so good and ends at that carriage scene. And that scene is the best out of all the scenes. It's my favorite. And then I get to the part where Colin's mad at her. And I'm just like, can we move on from this? Why does this have to be?
Goes on too long.
Yeah. Why does this have to be the main thing should be her coming out as Whistledown.
All right. I've been watching Friends this week. It's always been my comfort show. And I finally let like a character in my book love Friends. Because I always give them like their favorite go-to show. And so you have like a backstory of like their fandoms, and I've never let anyone have Friends as their favorite show. And I let this woman have Friends as her favorite show. And I just really wanted to watch it because Phoebe Buffay was on Armchair Expert this week. Lisa Kudrow, I'm so sorry. And it was very cool to hear her talk in that sort of setting where you get like 2 hours, not 2 hours, but they got 2 hours with her and they edit it down to like an hour and a half. And it was really cool to hear her talk and like be a person outside of Phoebe Buffay and her take on a lot of different things that have to do with Friends. And I just really missed Friends after listening to it. So I started watching that in my breaks, and it's great because I've seen every episode, like, kid you not, probably like 20 times. So it's not like it's ever going to take me out of anything, and it just keeps me company when I'm on my breaks, like doing my makeup or taking my makeup off. Like, I just have Friends on, and it makes me happy and doesn't distract me from my writing. Also, I've been watching Survivor, and we're right at the end. This season of Survivor has amped up in such an exciting way because my girl is slaying, and I think she has such a great shot at the title. And I also really like another one of the castaways of the contestants that have made it all the way to the end. Teeny, my winner's pick, is still here, and Rachel, my girl, is still here, and I'm just so excited for the possibilities. Oh my God, when this comes out, Survivor already ended, so you all know what happened if you watch.
You will know.
I will know too, and I guess this is really outdated and I shouldn't even talk about it, but it's been a great season. 47. So what did you watch this week?
The movie I watched this week, I rewatched Holiday on Netflix, and this was a 2020 holiday film, and I think it's one of their best. Like, I remember feeling like this giddy, like heartwarming feeling, and it's so funny. They have so many good like hijinks in it. I told Christine, I'm like, you need to rewatch this for like rom-com purposes. But I think that's my favorite Netflix holiday movie because I just think it was so well done. And
I have to watch it. I'm excited.
Yeah, if we haven't watched it in like 4 years, do it.
I haven't watched it at all, so it's gonna be great.
You've never watched it?
No, I never watched it.
Oh, yeah. You should.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up our intro segments today. We're going to move on into our main discussion, the top 24 moments that made our 2024. We're really excited. And before we do that, though, we're going to take a second and thank everybody out there that's been here with us, either just came to join us today or has been here with us for the year or has been here with us for the very beginning. We appreciate all of you so much. We love this community. Our Those Working Fangirl community is our favorite thing. It's so heartwarming to be a part of all of your weeks, all of your Fridays. And if you haven't already, we'd love it if you followed the show for free in your favorite podcast listening app so you never miss an episode going forward. And you can do that in Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you like to watch the visual version of the show on YouTube, youtube.com/@thisworkingfangirls, hello, you can subscribe there for free so you never miss an episode on YouTube. It's all very helpful.
Also, rate. You can rate us on Spotify and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. I don't know if we've talked about that in a while, but
it's been a while. Yeah, but it takes like literally half a second to hit the star rating. If you like the show, you give us 5 stars on Spotify. And on Apple Podcasts, you can write a little review or just rate. But if you like the show, that's always helpful too. It's the same sort of ordeal where like it pushes the show to new listeners when people are reviewing it.
Mm-hmm. We have 600 something rates on Spotify. If we could get to 800, woohoo!
Hair flip.
That's a challenge.
Oh, well, if we get to 800, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you taking a second to do that. It means a lot. And if you don't know, our podcast is supported by listeners and viewers like you. So we don't have sponsors. We have amazing humans out there that support us month to month and let us make this show. And we are so grateful for all of you who support the show because we love doing it and we couldn't do it without you. And if you would like to become a part of that community, the more the merrier. We offer a bunch of perks over there. And at the $5 level, you get the extra half an hour show that we do every single week called Fangirl Tea Time, where we tell stories about stuff going on in our personal lives and just dig a little deeper into topics that are just more personal. And it's such a beautiful, tight-knit community over there. I feel like we know so many of you, which is wonderful because we interact with all of you so much. And that is $5 a month. You can try it out. It's called Team Jacob. You can try it out for free for a week. You can start a free trial, see if you like it before you commit. And if you want to subscribe for the year, you get a 16% off discount. So you get a month and a half for free if you do the year instead of month to month. But either way, whatever floats your boat, it's available. And we have a $10 tier where you get bonus episodes and movie commentaries. And we have a $15 tier where we all have a Zoom call every single month and hang out for an hour. And you also get the chance to be on the show. So we have a form you fill out when you become a Polis Bananas team member and just to get to know you a little bit. And we try to pull a listener every month to 2 months to be on the show, and it's really fun. All right, it's time to get into our main discussion. Today we are diving into the top 24 moments of our 2024. We've both got 12 moments. We're both kind of just gonna jump around. They're not, well, at least mine are in no particular order. I think Natasha ordered hers a little bit towards a top moment of the year, but I could not choose like that. So I kind of just scattered mine all based on just no particular order. Do you want to kick us off?
Yes, I will kick us off. So I put on a ball this year.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about it and I didn't forget about it.
Oh yeah, because I think at first when I skimmed your list, I didn't see it, or was that just I missed it?
You might have just missed it. It was always there. But Lovesteria happened in June. This whole year I felt like I've needed to do something and I didn't know what it was. So my friend came to me with oh, you wanted to start this ball with love and do this. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a cool idea. Why not? So we put this whole thing together and everyone was very excited for me. It was so much work, but, you know how most people, if they ever put on a wedding or anything like that, you spend months and months and months and months planning and talking to people about it. And then it just happens in one day and it's over. And honestly, I just think this year, my friends really showed up for me, and everyone who came to help set up for Lovesteria, people put their blood, sweat, and tears into this for me, and just being a friend. And I don't take that for granted. The whole day was exhausting. We had to get up super early, drive up to LA. I remember I had done my hair up that morning and I put it up in this big shellacked updo. I was I can't have it down. There's no way. I put it in this little scarf thing. I felt I was someone from the 1950s. And I come driving down Taya's neighborhood, and both her and Natalie, and then Danielle and Danielle's cousin were like all waiting there for me because I like picked up McDonald's for breakfast. They all watch me as I come down, and I like go like, I'm like, you ready for a ball? Dave was like, wow, the energy. And I'm like, come on, we're putting on a ball today. But it was so long and so exhausting. Like Christine and I did our live podcast during that day. And then we had to like kind of reset for the ball that evening. And
a lot of resetting.
A lot of resetting, yeah. And we all had to change into like our nighttime outfits. And honestly, like that was probably one of my favorite parts, was just everyone crowded in that little room upstairs.
Yeah.
Like getting dressed, helping each other.
It was girlhood up there.
It was. And like zipping up dresses or lacing up or helping with hair.
Trying to do makeup like in a little corner. Like
just like trying to sit and have like a reprieve from the exhaustion.
Yeah. When we all got food and we were just kind of like sitting up there half dressed.
But when I came downstairs and you know, letting people in and people were setting up, when the cellist started playing, we got this like really cool cellist. He plays an electric cello, and so even though it's just one person, he managed to make it sound, because he was like looping his music, and it sounded so full and beautiful. And when that music started playing, I looked around and I was like, oh, it's happening. Like it felt
like Bridgerton.
Felt like Bridgerton.
It was magical.
And it was so magical. So that was probably my favorite moment from the ball. Obviously being upstairs too, but I felt like I was being pulled in so many different directions. But then like trying to take it all in, and then watching people as they arrive and have fun was so magical.
Yeah, it was so beautiful and so elaborate. Like y'all killed it. And I have a moment on my list too from the ball.
Oh, really?
I do. I added it last night because so I've talked a lot about this moment in Bridgerton during season 2 where they all dance, and I always cry. And it's so wholesome and like really beautiful. And then during Natasha's ball, she had a couple people there who were there to teach one of those Bridgerton dances.
It's actually my childhood best friend from like
Oh,
kindergarten. Yeah.
That's so cute. I forgot about that. Well, she was there and I was waiting for it to happen, but I was there was two sections of the ball. We had like the indoor section where there was like an actual like ballroom, but there was a dance floor outside under the tent. Mm-hmm. And I was in the ballroom, like standing by my table because I had my books there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I'm so excited for like the dances to happen. And whoever I was talking to was like, oh, I think that's going on right now. And I was like, what?
And you like grabbed me.
And like, I think I was like kind of toward the middle and there was a lot of people. So I was like weaving through everybody to get out there. And we made it just in time to learn the dance. And I was like, stand across from me. And it was just like, again, it was like getting to be in that scene. It was so wholesome and so cute. And we were like next to this other couple and they like had seen the Lovesteria like on Instagram and, you know, bought tickets and they were Cinderella and like the prince kind of like looking. So it was really cute. And because the dance involved us like trading places with the couple next to us. So it was just so sweet. And I videoed it like really poorly because I just set my phone up on the table next to us. But I'm glad I have it on video because it was adorable.
No, yeah. I love that too. It was so fun. And Riley, that was my childhood best friend. Like had to get like this whole like microphones over the head like pop star mic for her to speak on. and she's like, oh, there's a lot more people here than I thought. Like it was so crowded trying to dance.
And the dance was like, we would like bow to each other and like kind of hop and cross and like touch our hands and then like join hands and go into the circle. And then like there was another layer of the circle. It was so cute.
House of Flame and Shadow came out at the beginning of this year.
Yes.
In January.
I almost put this as one on my list.
And that day I was in like troll mode. The beginning of January is always a hard month for me because it's like my mom's birthday and then she passed on February 14th. And I like was spending a lot of time at Taya's, and that evening I was over there again. And I'm like, I kind of want to go like get House of Flame and Shadow like at midnight, because I was seeing everyone on the East Coast like share their videos and stories, and like Sarah had shown up in multiple places in New York, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I kind of want to like experience this again. Like this just sounds like good old times when we used to like wait out for Twilight.
It was such an exciting night.
It was, and it was the last. Well, yeah, it was the last. No, yeah, it was the last book in the Crescent City. No, there's more, right?
It was the last book in this arc. I feel like the next one won't be centering around Bryce as much.
And, you know, we might get Avatar characters in it. So we were all very excited, highly anticipated book. And it's like 11 o'clock. And I'm looking up. I'm like, should we go? Mind you, Tay hasn't read any of these novels, none of Sarah J. Maas. And I look up and there is a midnight party happening like 20 minutes away from me. And I look at Taya and I'm like, I think I'm going to go get this book. I think I'm going to go to this midnight party and go get this book. And she's like, okay. I'm like, do you want to come with me? She's like, okay, I'll go. I'm like, yes. Her ex is like just about to go to sleep, and we're like, we're leaving. And he's like, okay. And I like get in the bathroom, get our shoes on, and we're kind of like getting giddy. We're like, oh my god, it's like 11:30 at night. This is way past our bedtime, and we're about to leave and go to something.
Is it way past our bedtime?
No, it's definitely not. We all like go to bed at like 2.
Yeah.
But like past our bedtime for being out in public.
Being out of the house.
Yeah. So we get in the car and I'm excited. I'm like, this feels like we're back in high school, you know, just getting in the car, like going to do something. And we like the event itself, we were just in line the whole time, like
that's
just
what those
waiting.
Mostly are, right? Like
yeah.
lines. Yeah.
But it was fun to see like people dressed up,
excited.
And excited for the book, like people like dressed in character. We missed basically the whole thing. Like they had like a whole trivia thing and all of that, but we were just in line trying to get it, and we were meant to pre-order the book, but we didn't do that. Luckily, one of the ladies working there watched my channel back in the day, and she's like, don't worry, I got you. So she's like, just go to the end of the line and like we'll get you like 2 books. So that was just so much fun. It just felt like the good old times way back in the day. And I'm excited because we're going to do this for Onyx. Fuck me. I always say it wrong. Are you gonna come down when we go get the book?
Well, I guess it'll depend what's going on with my next deadline. But I will if I feel like I can. But yeah, that release was the first release in so long that I opened that book and I was like, and I just remember I wanted it to download the second it struck like 9 p.m. on the East Coast, and it wasn't fucking downloading. And I was like, I need this now. I bought the audiobook. I bought the visual book. I had the hardcover that I was getting the next morning. I was like having the best time reading that book. It did feel like the Golden Book 2 days, or like when Harry Potter 7 landed on my doorstep. Like, it was so exciting. And it was an amazing book. Like,
Yeah.
and so the whole time we were on our edge of our seats. Like, I was going to put on my list, but I didn't have room, like, the day I finished it. And I was on the walk listening to the audiobook, like, hysterically crying.
Yes. Oh, I remember this.
I was like, no one can run into me today. All right. Next on my list. Okay, this is one that I don't think I've really shared, but there was an announcement on Publishers Marketplace about my 5th book. And it will have like a Twilight fandom undertone to it. It's called See You at Twilight. And at the beginning of the year, I had my first adult novel that I was on submission with. And I was getting some people, you know, coming back to me, but being like, we want you to change this about it. And I was like, didn't want to change this about it. And my publisher that I have right now, I got this email from them being like, they loved it, but like, it's not in tune with what they're working on right now. Like, they don't want to acquire it.
Your publisher being Wednesday Books?
Being like, yes, St. Martin's, I guess, or it's Wednesday. But like, my adult book wasn't in
line with
what they were looking for. But they were like, we really love how you write fandom. Like, we love Attached at the Hip. Like, would you be able to do something with like the undertone of like a Twilight fandom? And I was like, would I be able to do something with a Twilight undertone? So like, I started like and so I got this from my agent, and she was like relaying this to me, and she was like, they're really excited about the prospect of this, and they have this new imprint coming called Saturday Books, and it's new adult. So like 30 is not new adult, but like anywhere in the 20s, it could be new adult. So I like hop on the phone with Natasha, and I'm like, they want me to do a book with a Twilight undertone. I need to come up with an idea, stat. And so I was like pitching to her, and she was like, what about this? And we were like, I was just getting so excited. And by the time we got off the phone, I was like, I had like a pitch in my head, and I like wrote it back, and they were interested, and then I put it together, you know, like it was so fun. And it's just, I'm so excited to write this book.
This moment like sticks in my head because I remember coming off of our call being like so hype on energy, and Alex was like sitting on the couch, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I just helped Christine so much.
It was such a great phone call.
It was, because it was like coming together with like an idea and like something that we love so much, and how can you best represent something that like is so important and crucial in your life. And I feel like the idea that like we came up with, and obviously like this is your thing, but like it feels, I'm so excited for it. I can't wait to see what you do with it and how. But it was just so fun. It's just like, and what if they did this and then this? Oh my God, they could go here.
Yeah, no, it was. And if you haven't heard the pitch, she was like, well, what if they went to
Halloween episode?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. And no, Natasha's like, well, what if they went to Forks? And I was like, what if it was a Twilight Eat, Pray, Love? And then it was like, what if it was this? And like, it was just like so fun. And so the book is like, its pitch is like Fangirl meets Eat, Pray, Love. And the lead is 25, and she just graduated law school and just took the bar. And she ends up running away from her wedding and getting on a plane to Forks.
I can't wait for the day that we can go to Forks with this book.
I know, I'm so excited. When something comes together like that so quickly in your head, and then you get really excited about it, and like you feel like you have to do it really quickly, and it actually works out really quickly, it's the best feeling.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also this year, like you've been almost like the whole year, you've been like, what do I write first? Like, do I do this at the same time? And
yeah, that's been a stressful aspect
of your year. But I think, I mean, I'll go into like Comic-Con, but like when you got to talk to the authors and kind of get clarity on how they work. I feel like that was a big turning point for you.
It was. That also, I wanted to put that on this.
Well, I'm glad I mentioned it.
But yeah, at Comic-Con, I got to be on a panel with like some authors that I really respect and admire, and they've written so many books. And it was just so lovely, like getting to talk to them and sit next to, and like that we did a signing afterward for an hour, and I was just sitting next to them and like talking to them, and it was so nice to make those sort of connections with like the way that they work on their work. You know, and just like talk to them like people, you know, I've talked about this, but for so long I've felt like there's this barrier between me and like all the other authors that are like more traditionally accepted as authors because I was a YouTuber. But like now, of course, more and more people from social media who want to be authors are becoming authors. But I still feel like that there's a wall because they're friends with like the people who are also doing it from that venue and not like the traditionally like I don't know what's traditionally anymore. So I'm just saying that like if they didn't come from social media, like in particular like TikTok or YouTube, I feel like there's still kind of a barrier. But more and more I feel like it's coming down, and it was really nice to feel like that didn't exist with them.
Unfortunately, you and Sasha had to be the people who kind of broke through that, at least in the like the fiction YA realm.
Yeah.
I mean, there was YouTubers publishing books, but they were like biographies.
Yeah. And this was actually like, these were stories that were going to be in that section of the bookstore that we go to. So it was a whole different can of worms, but it's been a while since then. And so many TikTokers are successfully, you know, made the transition to authordom. And I think they have their own little group of friends over there that are all in that same boat. So that's really nice to have that kind of support. Whereas like Sasha came out in like 2018 with her book, and mine came out the next year. And like we weren't, I don't know, there wasn't a community of people that were experiencing that. It was just like us at the time, and it was very new.
Lauren said, will y'all be going to Forever Twilight and Forks this September?
We're not sure.
Yeah, not being confirmed yet.
Not being confirmed, and this is the thing. We're going to Romance Con.
That's confirmed.
And Romance Con is literally right before it. So we'd be going to back-to-back cons. And so it would just be an intense week. And my book is probably not going to come out till the end of fall. So like more my fourth book. Sorry. So the Twilight book doesn't come out till 2026.
Yeah.
The adult book comes out like end of fall, beginning of winter of 2025. So that's coming next year, but it won't be out by the time those events are happening. Hopefully they'll have like arcs. I don't know, e-arcs.
So if we don't go this year, I'm not going to be sad because the next year Christine will have her Twilight book.
And hopefully they'll let us come. Yeah. Like we have to be approved by the Twilight board.
But this year, guys, they have Kellen and Jackson. But I'm more excited about Kellen.
I can't believe Kellen's going to be there. Yeah, no, I texted Natasha as soon as I saw. I was like, Kellen's coming. It was like on Facebook. I saw a post when they dropped the news.
We went to Comic-Con this year.
Yes, and it was one of the best Comic-Cons ever.
It was so great.
It was though.
We had a whole story time
episode. Yeah.
So if you guys, but also there's stuff in Tea Time on the episode that you also might want to listen to. But okay, so I just want to talk about the Meg and Hercules cosplays for a second.
Yeah.
Again, I was like, what do I have to do to like do something to like garner? I don't know. I'm just like, what if I just fucking make Meg again with all of my new skills? I'm gonna tell you guys right now, that's probably one of the most proudest things I've been of this whole year, because you physically got to see. I think my first Meg is great. Let's just say that. Okay. It's beautiful. It's perfect. I love the coloring on it. But I am so proud of the skills that I have built to be able to showcase in a costume, and being able to compare the two was so beautiful and wild to see. Like the corset construction, I just got off of like a viral video that like people were like, oh my God, the corset, the corset, the corset. And I like didn't really see it for a while. And then as I look back on it, I'm like, yeah, no, that is incredible. Like I did a really great job, I think, upscaling it and just being able to showcase what I've learned.
Yeah, and you enhanced the costume in so many little ways.
Yes.
Really added like so much texture and different like vibes.
Yeah, it's different, but it's
it has like more of like a kind of almost steampunkiness to it.
Yeah,
with the material.
Well, yeah, and then also like the 3D printed like medallions. Also, my three, Trisha Paytas commented on my video. Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
she's having a moment right now too. But also like Christine and I, like making Christine's Hercules to go with my costume was so fun because for so long I wanted like a Hercules. I'm like, oh, maybe I should shoot this with a man. I'm like, no.
Well, yeah, no, and I remember one time you had pitched like, what if you be Hercules? And I was like, yeah, but that was like a while ago and it didn't happen.
And then I'm like, let's just make it happen. But that day was wild because we truly didn't get out in our costumes till about like 2:33.
It's like 3.
We were in it for like maybe 3-4 hours, and
but it was a lot.
It was a lot. I didn't eat that whole day, and then Natalie comes over and she's playing Pegasus, and we're like
helping me with my costume while you get ready.
Yes. And we took some of like the most beautiful photos. I changed my profile picture to my new Meg. I love them. And then like we walked like the convention floor in our Meg and Hercules. It definitely wasn't the convention to wear those. I feel like they would have been better at D23. But everyone
still loved them.
Oh, everyone
like
still
little kids everywhere were like,
yeah. So two of my favorite moments was when we did the Doctor Who video. Do you not remember this?
Wait, what Doctor Who video?
It was a Doctor Who installment.
Oh my God! When I almost like killed myself.
Yeah, Christine like banged the fuck out of her knee.
Painful. I was like, oh no.
But she went full force. She was in, she had sneakers on and a dream, and
I wanted to be just like the Doctor when the thing crashes down.
And I'm like over here with like my massive ponytail. I've got like 3 ponytail clip-ins, and I'm like, I really can't do much over here.
Yeah, so what it was like a TARDIS installation, and they videoed you like running through the TARDIS. I was like, no one's doing this hard enough. And then I did it and hit my knee so bad. I was like, oh my God, am I going to be able to walk tomorrow? Like, so scared.
You get off it, you're like, ow.
Oh no, it was my wrist. Wait, it was my wrist that I hit and my mom had just broke her wrist, so I was like, oh God, what did I do?
So we did that, and then like we stop off and like take a moment and like sit down, and then we're like, all right, let's go walk back to the hotel so we can get to our dinner, because we finally had planned like a nice sit down dinner in Little Italy, because Christine and I have been we didn't really sit down to eat anywhere, right?
No, and we didn't make it to the right restaurant, but it was still okay.
Yeah. We wanted to go to this restaurant that we went to like 4 years.
Yeah, it was
ago?
like 3 years ago. It was 2022.
We like take some last minute pictures in the costumes like up on the roof of our hotel.
Yeah, it's the sun setting.
And that was like a fun like last minute. All right, guys, pull it together. Let's get through this.
One more shoot.
Okay, do you remember that this cute guy in like a gladiator outfit, like Spartan outfit, like walked around down? He's like, you guys have great costumes. And I'm so mad because Natalie's like, oh, he's cute. And I'm like, fuck, I should have said, do you want to take a picture with
It went right over my head. I missed that guy. I was too hungry, I guess. I did feel really hot in that costume, though. I really was confident in it, which was really nice.
Yeah, same. I'm glad I could make you feel hot in the costume.
I really loved the way you did to the corset. It was really cool.
But the way that we get back to the hotel room and just start stripping everything off.
Honestly, I see my memory is blurry of this because I was just like, must eat.
Yeah, because we're like, all right, we got 10 minutes, everyone change, let's go to Little Italy and eat. And it was fun because Taya had been on her own little private Idaho, doing work and stuff.
Is that a saying you use?
That's a saying I use. It's a song from the B-52s that my parents used to listen to.
Called My Own Little Private Idaho?
It's called Private Idaho.
Oh.
But it was just a really good dinner. We just got to sit down and have girls' time, and
it was a good
day. Just a good day, just to reminisce and talk about what we've been doing.
And okay, the hotel. There's so many good things about Comic-Con, because we were at a hotel now that was so close and right on the water, and right outside it there was an amazing bagel coffee store, so I could get a matcha in the morning and a coffee with Taylor ham and cheese, and it was just so nice knowing that I could roll out of bed and be like, do you want something from the coffee place? All right, I'm going to get a matcha. When usually you had to book it to a place and or go to one of the hotels where there's a huge line, and it was really, really nice.
We had a lot of good luck at this Comic-Con.
We did. We went to Comic-Con without a hotel room, and we left with a great one.
We went on. I wanted to use.
We went on what we wrote Vibes? We read on Vibes alone, and it came out with beautiful memes. But my Comic-Con memory that I really love, because the whole trip was great. The other day, we dressed as Wolverine and Deadpool.
Oh, yes.
This was the first day of Comic-Con, and the whole day, it was just fun walking around as Wolverine and Deadpool, and we looked like really cute girl versions.
I felt really hot.
Yeah, you had
a latex.
A latex.
I had a latex fucking dress in the middle of the summer.
Yeah, Natasha put my hair in these cool buns that looked like his horns.
No, they were victory rolls.
Victory rolls.
No, Christine.
We had the friendship necklace.
Oh, the friendship. Christine was literally, she's like, you could do my hair in victory rolls. She's like, you haven't done that since 2016.
Well, listen, I've been dreaming about this cosplay since I was Dumbledore, but I was dreaming about being Wolverine in jeans and a white t-shirt, a white sleeveless t-shirt. And I was be perfect for the horns victory rolls. And so once we were doing this, I was like, it's time for the victory roll horns. We did the apple dance in that outfit, which I loved. And then we met up with all our friends later to see the movie. And the movie was so good.
So good. Oh, my God.
It was a beautiful time.
Oh, my God. I don't want to spoil it for people, but I guess it's on Disney Plus. I'm not going to spoil it. But when that cameo came on, you all know.
We all freaked out.
Freaking out. Sorry, guys. We have not been numbering these. So this is number 7 as we are making our way to the number 24 moments of 2024. All right.
No numbers.
This year, I made a fucking wedding dress.
Woo!
With a 10-foot train, with a cape made out of curtains and custom gloves and
so many things.
So this was a big project that I now again, if you were a patron, you already know all the details. If you want to go and listen to all the nitty-gritty stories about this wedding dress, you can in Tea Time.
It is available to you.
I've been on a bride train this year, and it all started with Becca's wedding dress. So my friend Becca, who got married in Hobbiton, said a couple years ago, like 2 years ago, at the beginning of my like sewing journey, and I offered to make her a wedding dress when I knew she was going to go to Hobbiton. I was like, yeah, like by then my skills should be up to par. Like I'll be ready for the challenge. And I was thinking it was going to be like some like little elvish gown that didn't have really any structure, kind of like the Arwen gown I made. And I'm like, easy peasy. Nope. Becca had a whole other idea. She wanted a like royal big ass ball gown with a 10-foot long train and a corset. And I was like, okay, let's do it. I mean, you started talking about this dress long ago, like last year, but like I didn't start physically working on it. Like in my mind, takes a lot. I got to think about it,
Yeah.
But I didn't
Map it out.
physically working on it until January this year, and her wedding was in April, and it took me about 3 months to like finish everything because I was working on it little by little. It was just a lot, like overwhelming, and it took up my entire apartment. The train was so long. I ran into so many different like issues with it. Like her fabric.
You're problem solving constantly.
Always problem solving. Like every fabric just performs differently. Like you can't just like, it's not always cut and dry. I made someone an entirely new pattern. I drew out the pattern for her corset because like we put I don't even want to like go into it because it's going to be confusing for people. But anyways, I drew out her like corset pattern, and then like her fabric, I had to line her fashion fabric, which was like that gold lame fabric with like another fabric. So it was a lot of work. But it all was worth it. One, because the response publicly was so amazing, but also when she was in my apartment and we had the final fitting for the main dress, she hadn't even put on the cape yet. She put it on, and we put the corset on over the skirt, and the train was all out. Like it took up my entire living room dining room right here. And she started crying, and it was so special that I could make her dreams come true. I took so much care. She had to come in for so many fittings to make sure like it was perfect. And I was just like so scared. I just wanted it to work. And like, I never really made something for someone before. And it was like her wedding gown, like the gown. And I have it on video, but, I just was like, this makes everything worth it. Thank you for crying.
All right. The next thing on my list, 8. Eighth moment here. I put out my 3rd book this year, Attached at the Hip. And so I did a lot of ramping up, a lot of like videos on TikTok and Reels and all that shit. And a couple weeks, like a month before release, scheduled a photo shoot with the book with Danielle, who has done so many of our photo shoots. She's so talented. And scheduled it to be on a beach because Attached to the Hip takes place like abandoned on an island, and I wanted to have like a chair in the water to sit on. And so it comes the day of, and it's just, like chaotic because I have to drive like 2.5 hours down to this beach because she's far. She's down like near San Diego. And on the way, I'm stopping at Home Depot to pick up a chair to be able to put in the ocean because I don't have anything that could casually be put in the ocean.
I was thinking like a small little stool or something.
They didn't have something like that. There were like 2 chairs, like a regular folding chair, and then I got a like beach chair that you put
got
outside.
Aaron,
what is it called? Yeah,
Adirondack
chair. And it was blue, so it looked like much more nice in a picture than that little like fucking brown folding chair. But I got both of them, and I used both of them. But it's just so happened. So it's May. It's usually or April, and it's usually pretty warm in April. But like it was cold and overcast. The sun was not out. And I come with like a whole suitcase full of my books, like the hard copies of the author copies, because I don't know how many I'm gonna like want to use in pictures. And I have my new Pop Flex outfit, the first Pop Flex outfit I've ever owned, and it's the pirouette skirt before we knew that Taylor Swift wore it.
Before it blew up.
I had the turquoise skirt and like top and stuff, and it's my first time wearing it. And I sit on that chair, and like 30 seconds into taking pictures, a wave blows up and wets my entire bottom half because the chair is so close to the ground, and it's fucking freezing. And I'm like, well, I guess now I'm just going to be in the water because I'm not wasting this wetness. I'm cold. I'm going all out. So
it was such a cold day. Like, it was so overcast.
It was so cold. And Danielle is like, just following me into the water, like rolling up her pants. And I'm like putting my folding chair deeper and deeper in because I'm like, I'm getting a good shot with the water. And I just keep getting like surprise pummeled with waves, getting more wet. And by the time we take pictures out, like away from the water, I look like I washed up on a fucking island. Like, I look like I'm straight out of Lost. Like, there's not much makeup on me. I'm pale as shit. Like, my hair is just straggly. I took the time to like curl it and stuff. Like, that was gone. And to be honest, like, it did match the vibe of the book, but like 90% of those pictures are me like, ah! Because it's fucking freezing.
Her just face is just like, ah!
My face is contorted in every direction. My eyes are closed. Like, I'm screaming.
My favorite thing is Danielle just laughing, like cackling in the background of all the videos.
As I like get blown over by another wave, and I just like, I'm underwater, but my arm is up holding the book above it, trying not to get it wet. Like, it was an adventure, y'all. And then Natasha was like 30 minutes from this beach, so like after I say goodbye to Danielle, I'm freezing. Like, I'm just soaking wet, and I'm like trying to drag this Adirondack chair. She's helping me, but like I had to like stuff it covered in sand and like tar got on it.
So big.
And stuffing it into my car all wet and sand covered because I'm like so cold. And I leave and just race down to Natasha. So I'm like, I'm freezing. Can I jump in your shower the second I get there? I'm all wet. Oh my God.
I had like set the towel out. I'm like, go up. Go on.
Yeah, so it was like, but it was ended up being such a fun day. Like, I was so hyped on the adrenaline of like being in the cold plunge, and like then the warm cozy shower at Natasha's, and we ordered ice cream and cookies, and we recorded a tea time.
My favorite was when you got back after you showered and were like back to being a normal temperature, is when you showed me all the videos. That day I was so funny because it wasn't just you who showed up to my house that day. I had 4 friends do a drive by.
Your cousin was there too,
and Miley was there. Miley, my cousin, anyways, she lived with Alex and I for like 3 months taking care of our grandpa, and so my cousin was there. And then in the morning, I think Taya came by, and I told Miley, like, watch this. I've got 4 friends coming by today. It's gonna be fucking hilarious. So like Taya comes by, she's like, drop off something, and then Chloe comes
there
by.
when I got there.
Taya was there?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe Chloe was there in the morning or something, and she had a date, so she stopped off to get changed at my house, like at medieval times or something.
Oh yeah.
And then Natalie stopped by for like Disneyland. She like had to also get changed at my house. And then finally Christine and Taya make their way to my house. And Miley and I are just like sitting there. Miley's like, this is so funny. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I did my hair at your house before I went.
I'm just like this central person in between San Diego and LA. So everyone just like makes their pit stops near me.
Yeah, no, it was a good day.
Okay, number 9. Well, speaking of my cousin, so both of my cousins were here when Bridgerton Part 1 dropped. And I wanted this was what it dropped in like May, right?
Yeah, it was right before my book release was the second half. So maybe it was like late April for the first half.
No, it was May. It was like the beginning of May.
Oh, and then June. It was Olivia's wedding, the second half. Okay.
Yeah. So both my cousins were here when Bridgerton dropped. And I had plans to watch it with Heather, but then they were here for, just to be in town. And when it dropped, I was just like chomping at the bit. I'm like, we have to watch it. Like I just got back from, New York
You
at
just
the
had
premiere.
like a horror movie move with your head.
And so we put it on like once Bodhi goes to bed, after Alex goes to bed, because it's like a school night and Alex has work the next morning. So just the three of us downstairs watching it. And I'm like, they had been at like this monster truck rally all day, so they were like tired. And I'm like, I've waited all day for you to get home. You're sitting here and you're watching it with me. And so we start with the first. Oh, so my Sailor and I had watched the first episode the night before, and so like I then had to watch it 3 times because I watched it at the premiere. And so we're like, all right, we'll start with the first one. And Miley like falls asleep in the middle of it. And I'm like, Miley, wake up. You're going to miss it. And we finally get to episode 4, the carriage scene. Miley is fully awake at this time. And so the three of us are just watching it. And I recorded their reaction to this. The way that we are so excited and like our reactions to everything, we're just like so hype. And then the carriage scene happening, and we're all like, oh my God. And then it ends, and we're like, no! And we scream, we're like, oh, shut up. It was so fun watching it with them. So that was one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, the carriage scene was honestly a 2024 phenomenon. Like, it
Seriously.
blew up. It was a meme everywhere. There were, like, edits everywhere.
Pitbull I'll always see him in a different light now. That song will remind me of the carriage scene.
Oh, the song that was playing. I was like, why Pitbull?
It was so weird how I rewatched that just this week, and it literally took me back to that time and like TTPD came out and all this stuff was going down, and I was like, wow.
Speaking of TTPD, one of my favorite moments this year was the night of the Grammys. And here in Southern California, we were in the middle of a fucking rainstorm. This has been the rainiest year ever. I bought nice rain boots this year because that's how much I was walking the dog in the rain. Like I couldn't go out there. My sneakers were just getting soaking wet all the time. So this night in particular, I'm sitting up in my room watching the Grammys on my computer, and it starts to leak from my ceiling. Like right in the middle of my bedroom, like right at the foot of my bed. So I'm like dealing with that, but I'm like waiting for the big, Taylor Swift moments. And I was filming when she went up to get her Album of the Year award. And like so excited for her and hoping that she was going to like announce Reputation or something. I think a lot of us were clowning for Rep as we do all the time 24/7, but like hold on, I have the moment. She won the best pop vocals for Minnie! Oh my god. And she made like history. No one
not expecting that. Not expecting that. But I know that the way that the Recording Academy voted is a direct reflection of the passion of the fans. So I want to say thank you to the fans by telling you a secret that I've been keeping from you for the last 2 years. Oh my god. Which is that my brand new album.
Oh fuck, wait, I turned it off.
It's called The Torture
Oh,
Polis
yeah!
Department. I'm going to go and post the cover right now.
Oh, my God!
Thank you. I love you.
Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Oh, my God!
My favorite thing about that video is that you were filming the fucking screen and not yourself. Everyone has that moment, but we wanted to see you. Next time that happens, film yourself.
We still got the vocals.
Oh my god! You sound like a seagull. John says.
It was just like the pure elation, and then the lead up to it, like the night that we went to this premiere for Lisa Frankenstein, while Natasha was like seated in a completely different area of like the auditorium where this was happening. Like she dropped the names of the tracks.
Oh yeah.
And I just remember freaking out about those. Like everything was a big moment leading up to TTPD, and then up to the literal day that it released, and like then at midnight our time, she dropped an entirely like a new half of an album.
Number 11. Christine and I both have this down. Romance Con was this year.
Yes.
Okay. This was so fun. This is like our first event as like a podcast, or were we Twilight and Forks?
Twilight. Yeah, Forever Twilight and Forks. But this was the first event where I was also no, it was just bigger. It was our first like big con, because the festival is the Twilight Forever and Forks.
This was about books. It felt
yes.
like we were kind of getting back to the good old days of book con, and it was mainly for Romance Con. But I was so excited to meet our listeners in person.
Yes.
Like the people on our chat here on the Patreon, we knew so many people who were going to be there. I could not wait to meet people in person.
Yep.
Like feeling like internet friends. Like in our top tier, we have Pulse Bananas. We have a Zoom chat every month. And so it's for the last 2 years, we have been getting to know the people
So many of you, yes.
in that group. And I knew so many of them were going to be at this event. And I was like, finally, we get to see them in person.
Yes.
And my favorite thing, we got dressed that morning in our new merch.
Yes,
and
we did.
the pink t-shirts. I loved that you, me, and Chloe all matched. We all looked so cute and
We all
like,
matched
different.
and all styled it different.
Yes. And like going to Starbucks that morning and being like, oh, I don't know what to expect, and everyone like, we're like, oh, you guys look so cute. And then we walked in because Christine had the first panel in that main room, and all of a group of them were just sitting in the front row, and I was just like,
Our patrons.
oh my god,
Yeah.
screamed and like ran to people and hugged them. Abby from chat, I think, came in like a little bit later, and I like ran and hugged her, and just everyone there. Like it was just so wonderful to meet you guys in person and like have that face-to-face contact. And I just want to meet every single person who has been, listening to the podcast this year or last 2 years.
Yeah, honestly, it was so special, and like it just felt so warm and like supportive. Like the whole environment felt so warm and supportive, but to like have our patrons and listeners there, it was like a whole new level of like feeling so much love. Like there was so much love in that room, and it was magical. Like honestly, and this is kind of a different topic, but like anytime I meet anyone like on the book tour that listened to the podcast, I was like, there was this whole new level of connection. Like, oh my God, thank you so much. You just feel like you're instant friends. There's a different level of like feeling like you understand each other. And then that ramped up. Like that was before Romance Con. And then to be at Romance Con and meet like so many of our patrons that we talked to on Zoom and stuff like you were talking about, it was so wonderful. Like,
we've also never been to that part of the country before. Like we went to Wisconsin, and so there was people there who had wanted to be at BookCon, wanted to be like at certain Comic Cons, but never been there before. And we got to meet those people in person for the first time, and that was my favorite part.
Yeah, it was really, really wonderful. And then like just that, I'll never forget when we were on stage before our Forking Fangirls panel, And
Is this a moment for you? Are you moving?
This
on
is
to
a
your
moment. I'm moving
because we're number 12.
Number 12, moment number 12. Speaking of Romance Con, getting up there, and there were so many people that came to watch our panel, which was like so cool. And putting on our theme music and dancing to it and seeing the audience dance to it with us was the fucking coolest. And it was just such a fun panel. And we had so much like fun audience reactions and participation, and having Julie and Sierra there, and having such extreme differences and like levels of smut. If you haven't listened to that episode, it's the Live from Romance Con episode. It was so much fun, and we just like got so much positive feedback after. Like everyone in the audience that like came across us after were like so excited about the pod and the episode, and it was such a beautiful time, honestly. Like
it was. I'm just so excited to go back and experience it again. Like we felt so like high on life, like especially after we did the live show, and the amount of people who like came up to Christine's table and who talked about it, like that was the best. Like people who had never even listened before, or like
so
that
many
was
people
so
that hadn't
great.
listened before.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It was like it kind of like reinforced the idea that like we're doing something right. Like we're kind of good at this. Strangers liked it.
Katie said it was lovely, and I was so anxious, but sleeping over and getting ready at a hotel with my fellow Patreon girlies was a dream. Oh, it made me so happy. Like a bunch of them like are friends too, and like met each other through the Patreon, and it just makes me so emotional.
It's really, really wonderful. Like that's the goal, like to build a really supportive, beautiful, kind community of like-minded people. Yeah. So that's our 11 and 12. Can't wait to go back. And it was my first time being like an author with like a table. Well, I guess again, we had it at the Forks Festival, but it was a different level of people.
It wasn't about us.
Like, well, no, at the Forks Festival, like I loved that table. Everyone was so supportive and wonderful.
It was the best.
And our live went really beautifully. It was just like a smaller event. So like the scale of this event was much larger. And so there were also like lots of panels that I did. We had packed days. Like we were very scheduled, and it was great to be so busy and to be like on panels where I was like an author. Like this year was like the year that I got to be considered an author at more things, which was really cool for me.
Shot says Abby has a great Romance Con vlog for those of us who couldn't go. It's so cute.
Oh yeah, I watched it.
I need to watch it. That just made me like, I just realized that I didn't vlog that Romance Con, and like I kind of want to get back to that, like for events, and like that was the time to do it, and we didn't do it. It's just,
we have clips and stuff. Like
yeah,
it's not like we don't have anything.
I know. I kind of want to put like a long form though. Like I need to. I want to prioritize that this next year. Okay, so number 13, we started because of the Deadpool movie night. We started a group chat called what is it? What the
I
Deadpool
called
girls?
it like Deadpool girlies or something.
Deadpool girlies?
Yeah, because this is what I like message everyone like about the tickets.
And Christine had it because like she had to start the group chat because we were trying to coordinate tickets, because it was like, all right, we're all gonna be down in San Diego. Let's go see Deadpool. Blah blah blah. And so this chat has just continued to stay active for the whole year. And I think one of my favorite things this year is seeing the joy that my friends have, like being around Christine and just being around each other. Like they have got to like the amount of times I've heard like, oh, we just love Christine. Like she's so fun. And because like, I think like this year I got to bring a lot of people together. Didn't always work out, but like, but like I have so many friends and so many people in my life, and I love them all dearly. And just having that little group chat, especially like I think during like during Comic-Con and then during D23 and like asking advice and people, just all the girlies supporting each other has been so lovely. Like specifically, I remember I was making my Belle dress for D23 and I like sent in some options. I'm like, what do I do with this? Do I make a sleeve? Do I not make a sleeve? And everyone's like
chiming in.
No sleeve. And that chat has just been so fun, just having like so many like multiple personalities in it, and just uplifting one another has been
it's been really nice to be a part of a girl group chat. I've spent so long like I don't know, I don't think I actually have ever had a chat like that. I've never been in a girl group chat because I didn't have an iPhone for a really long time, and nobody fucking included me in anything. And it felt really nice to be included and to like get to know these really wonderful women that Natasha has been forming these friendships with since like 2016. And I like knew some of them, but like I got to know them better this year and hang out with them and like more like settings where I could talk to them, where because like in bigger settings I have trouble. Yeah, like
it was always just like my birthday.
Yeah. And when there's like, I can talk to like one or two maybe at your birthday. It's not the same as like when it's just like you, me, and them, or like a, a smaller thing. And it's really nice, and everyone's wonderful. Yeah. And I'm really thankful that you've brought some new women into my life that are really wonderful.
Yeah, I think my favorite, like there was a time there where, and this will probably move us into this part, but Natalie, my friend Natalie, really showed up and like was like she came with us to all the Colleen stuff, like was at Comic-Con. Even recently, like we went to Christine's and all had dinner together, the three of us. And but like Natalie, like you and Natalie, I feel like mesh really well together. And I remember her saying like, I really love Christine. Like she's just my favorite. She's so fun. And that's
so nice. I love her too.
So that was really fun.
It was really nice, like the day that she came to Comic-Con. That's like when I first really got to like talk to Natalie and like learn about her and everything, because she's the one that I hadn't, I think, like ever really been in a place where I could really talk to her. So it was nice. And like for my Hercules costume, my things weren't fitting, so she like completely like revamped. What are these things called that go on your arms? Like the gauntlets, and like made new gauntlets for my ankles. And I was like, oh my God, you're so handy. What?
We love girlhood.
14. Okay, let's see. Okay, so what came first? I'll go in order here. So my book came out this year, and I had the amazing privilege to get to go on another book tour. And I went on a book tour for Again But Better, and Not Better Together came out during the pandemic, so I didn't get to see anybody and really celebrate the release of that. And book tours are getting like more and more scarce for authors who aren't like huge, and have like enormous audiences. And I was really, really scared that I wasn't going to get to do one. And I felt like there was a lot of pressure on this book to do well. And I'm like, how am I going to, get the word out without like going to places and meeting readers? Like, this is what I do best. I really feel like I'm doing like the happiest when I'm meeting people in person and like talking to them in person. And I really tried to stress that like if you put me in front of a group of people, I think I can convince them that like they'll like my book. But like if you don't know, like when you know the author more and like how you vibe with them, how you like will vibe with their writing most of the time. Sometimes it's different. Sometimes people are really dark on paper and really fun in real life.
Yeah, I can think of a few examples.
I can think of a few examples of that. But with me, like the vibe is kind of the same in the writing. Anyway, so I was so elated when I got to go, and I wish I could like talk about every stop. I can't. I picked 2 stops to talk about. And the first one here that I'll talk about is the LA tour stop. Was such a really beautiful day for me. Definitely one of my top moments of the year. We this tour stop was at the Rip Bodice in Culver City. And I was just so nervous about an LA tour stop. Like, I went into this tour being like, I don't want to do LA because so many people are so distracted in LA because there are literally huge events every single day of every week. And people, since I live here, I feel like my audience, like people who read my books in this area, feel like they've seen me at different things. Like, they don't need to come. But like, the book release is such a huge thing. Like, it's so big for me that like if I had an event and people didn't show up, it would be so sad. And for better,
well, because we've had like our
Other
friends
things.
have had book like stops here and people just don't show up, and it's unfortunate.
well, yeah, not as many people show up. And for Better Together, like, I hadn't been on the internet in a while during when that like paperback came out. I wasn't as present and stuff. And I felt that at the event, like, people came, but like not as many as like any of the other events that I've done. So I was like, what if nobody comes? And everybody came, and it was a packed room.
So packed.
And it was just like so heartening to see that people show up, and like friends came, and really just thankful for everyone who came to that event. It made my year, and meeting everybody was so nice. And I was so rushed because we came from Portland, like me and Chloe came back from Portland that morning, and then like raced to my house, and then raced right back out because Natasha and everyone was meeting us there to do like pictures beforehand, and like Ariel was photographing at the event. It was just a whirlwind, and I was like starving, and my friend Julia was there, and she was like, "What do you need? I'll go get you food." And it was just like this so much teamwork. And it was the first time that I really wanted the audience to participate in one of my book tour TikToks.
That's very fun.
And God, I had the best time doing those TikToks with everyone, with all of you. So if you were there, like, I am so grateful that you were down to do silly shit in the audience for all these fun videos that we made. Yeah.
It was so. I think Danielle came up with me too.
Yeah, she did. It was really, really nice of her.
I think you need to do like a roundup of like the outfits you wore on tour, because like you had such great fits, and I think that would be really cute.
Yeah. I would like to go back
way.
and do some sort of compilation of the book tour stuff, because it was so special and so fun.
That was so special. Also, just like your book coming out this year and how well received it was, and like literally the amount of people I told about it. By the way, I'm always like, I'm so annoying. I was like, yeah, my best friend Christine Riccio, she's a New York Times bestselling author. Thank you. The people who were like literally bought your book like right in front of me, when I like tell them, I'm like, yeah, I had to do your elevator pitch recently. I'm like, and I succeeded because she bought it right in front of me, which was really at Taylor's birthday party.
Oh,
it was really cute. This is 15.
15.
I'm the odds and you're the evens. Someone pointed that out in the chat.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh wait, I thought I was the odds.
No,
Wait,
you're the
where's
evens. I'm
the-
the odds.
Because wasn't I number 11, or were you number 11?
I was number 11.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was you. That was over. Okay. Sorry.
Also-
I'm losing it.
Katie says, you know where there are never events, so when there is one, so many people show up. Nebraska.
I will request Nebraska next time. The thing is, like, I did give my publishing company a list of places I'd love to go, and I guess, like, they send out feelers there. But if there's not like a place where they know that they can do events there, then usually they're like,
give up.
Yeah.
You know who's been going a lot of places is Julie and Sierra. They've been going a lot of like different.
Yes, they've been road tripping, I think.
Yeah, they have
And
been road
that's what you
tripping.
have to do when, like, so my adult book, like, because it's coming out with Montlake, which is the Amazon imprint for romance novels. and they don't believe in book tour or events. So I have to organize whatever's going to come. So I have to figure out like how to optimize like doing an event and how I would do that, because I still want to do some events.
When does it come out again?
It doesn't have a date yet, but they're thinking probably late
This year?
of
Or
2025.
2025? Okay.
2025. Late 2025.
I'll be out of school. Hopefully I can help you. So this is a weird one that it's my favorite moment. So just buckle up.
Okay.
My grandpa died this year.
Oh.
And I miss him so much. And it was a long time coming, because he's had Alzheimer's and dementia, and that's why my cousin was here. She was taking care of him. However, my grandpa's funeral is one of my favorite moments this year, because Christine was there.
Yeah.
My entire family got up on stage and talked about him. And I'm so proud of every single person who did that, because it was hard. And when my grandma told us that we were all going to do that, I was like, what? No, I'm not doing that. And I did the slideshow, which I'm very proud of. Thank you. And I got to see, like, I haven't seen some of these photos before. Like, I got to see him like in his youth and like all these fun photos, and just like taking a trip down memory lane. And I remember I got it all edited and done, and I had Miley and Sailor sit next to me, and I was like, okay, you guys got to watch this and tell me if it's good or not. And like they started crying and I started crying. I'm like, okay, it's good. I can send this off. So the slideshow, and this has happened at my home church. I haven't been back to this church since I got kicked out of leadership in 2021. And I was very anxious about being there. I also, like, I haven't been to like, my mom died in 2020, so we didn't ever have a funeral for her. And, we just had like a burial. And having my friends there, like Christine, Heather, and Taya all showed up, and it was nice to have that support. And kind of like, I cried a little bit that day, but it was just more of it was a celebration. And I think that was why it was so lovely. So like the 6 of us, my cousins, all got up there, and we all shared like a funny story about my grandpa. And I'm so proud of each of them. Like, they were all very nervous about it. And like, none of us ate breakfast because we didn't really want, we were like, oh, we have to talk in front of people. But it was so beautiful just to see all the kids get up there and say something. And my grandma the other day, she's like, you know, my friends keep talking about how all of you kids got up on stage and talked about Papa. And I'm like, yeah, I'm really proud of that. And it was like, I told a funny story. I think like Will told a funny, Alex, I don't know, remember what he said, but it was just the best. And I'm just so glad we got to have that celebration for him, and have people there that weren't there, that I couldn't have for my mom because it was during the pandemic. And so weird to say that my grandpa's funeral was one of my favorite moments, but it truly is.
It was. I can second that. It was the best funeral I've ever been to. It was so beautiful. Like, I was sitting there just like crying at everyone's stories because they were so well told and delivered too. Like that I didn't know your grandpa very well, but by the end of that, I felt like I did. Like, all of his friends got up there and told beautiful stories, and they were all like funny and relatable. And like, you know, someone in your life that, you know, has played that sort of part for you. But then like, there's also all these like individual little like quirks and stuff that we see in you and Alex. And like, it was so beautiful to like see the trickle down of like the person that he was. And I left that section of it just being like, holy shit, like that was amazing. And I just, I wish that like the funerals I've been to in the past have not been like that. Like I feel like I've kind of briefly talked about this, but like for my papa, there was no like personal family member that talked. And I just really, like, the next time that there's a funeral for anyone I care about, I want it to be like that. It was so beautiful.
Yeah. It can be so hard, and I totally like I couldn't imagine
It's
like
hard.
talking about my mom when she passed, because that was like so sudden.
Devastating.
But for someone who lived a long and glorious life, it was easy. It was very easy. Like hearing that like you guys all saw it through us, like saw him through us, is so beautiful, because like he was so funny. It's like the reason why my entire family can tell great stories is because of him and my grandma. And like my mom was such a storyteller, and both my aunt and uncle are. Like we just have a very bright and colorful life all together. But Heather, my best friend Heather, got up and said she had never met my grandparents, and everyone was like, who is this lady?
I was sitting next to her, and she like passed me. I was like, oh, where's she gone?
She got up and she said exactly what Christine just said. She's like, I just see Chuck in all of you, and it's so beautiful to see. Like, I've never met him, and I know this might be weird, but that was so wonderful to see.
Yeah, and it was like she articulated exactly what I was thinking, and I was just like, yeah, it's so real right now. Didn't she say someone's name wrong?
Oh, she said my aunt and uncle's last name wrong. It's okay. Wait, I have a funny story about this. So my aunt and uncle's last name is Brazda. This is my mom's my younger sister, her younger sister by 7 years. And she said it Brazada. She added an A in there. And I cringed when she said it that way. And then my aunt was like, it's okay. Like, people always say it wrong too. And then later this year, my cousin Wes enters his freshman year of college, and he's playing water polo. And they fucking spell his name Brazada, like in his like little like West Brazada. And we're all like, what the fuck? It's Heather all over again. And my aunt's like, I'm so angry. I've been trying to make them change it all year.
It was okay when Heather did it.
But not like on his official college website. Like, that's not okay.
Yeah, no, that's a lot. It's on the website.
Yes, it's on the website.
So my sister got married this year, which was a huge moment. And there were a lot of moments leading up to it. But I want to just kind of hone in on like 3 really special moments of the wedding. And one was watching her and Brian do their first dance. And if you don't know, Olivia asked me if I would choreograph their first dance last year. And I was really touched to be given that task. But also like kind of stressed because I've never choreographed like a ballroom-ish dance. But like, you know, I've watched a lot of Dancing with the Stars.
So you were qualified.
I've had friends get married. I studied their first dances. I've been watching my cousins do their first dances and like picking out the parts I like for years. So anyway, and I watched some TikTok videos about first dances. So I put something together and I taught it to them like over the Christmas break in 2023. And then they would practice it all the time and send me videos. And then to see them do it like so perfectly on the floor, like I started crying, and Olivia came off after. She was like, it was good, right? Do you think it was good? I was like, it was really good. And it was, so when they call it the bridal party, but they didn't call us out individually at her wedding. They were just like, here's the bridal party and the bride and groom. And literally we were like, you know, like cheering for them in the middle of the floor still when the song started. And I was like, no, I don't have my phone. So I started sprinting through the crowd to try to get to the table where I left my phone. And everyone's like, are you okay? Are you okay? As they're starting their first dance. And I'm like, I need my phone. And like I sprinted back filming like a stage mom, like crouched. But I got it. I got like most of it. I just missed the first 8 count. And it was beautiful.
Oh. Do they have it? Is it on the video? Like her official video?
It's on their official video. And I think I posted it too. The versions that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just really beautiful to see that come to fruition. And then, of course, I was the maid of honor, so I was so nervous about my speech. And it went really well. And the whole night, everyone was coming up to me being like, "Oh my God, your speech was so funny." And I was like, "Oh my God, thank you." Because it's just like, it's different when you get like validation from like people in your family like that you never talk to your whole life. But yeah, no, everyone was laughing, and Olivia and Brian loved it, so that was like such a relief, and I was so glad I like delivered a speech that they enjoyed. And right after, there was a rainbow outside, and my papa he's passed and he couldn't come, and that was like a thing that he always used to say, that like he just wants to live long enough to dance with us at our weddings. And so that, I guess, like at his funeral there was a rainbow, and there outside right after I made my speech was this huge rainbow, and it was like so vivid, and everyone raced out there, and Olivia was like, "It's Papa," and then Paul came on the microphone because they were like, "Can you say something about the rainbow?" And I was like, because I didn't know what was going on. I had just come off of this like
anxiety trip. You did it.
I got it out, and Paul was right next to me. He's like, "I'll do it." And Paul gave this beautiful speech about my papa and how like he's here because he wanted to be here for Olivia's wedding, and everyone who was in there got really emotional, and he did it right off the cuff, and it was really beautiful, and I was so proud of him. And no one got it on tape, and not even the photographers and stuff, because everyone had raced outside to see the rainbow.
I wish it was recorded, because
yeah, me too.
You know, sometimes the boys can whip out really emotional things and good speeches.
Right before Comic-Con, it was like the day before we left for Comic-Con, we hosted the Q&A early screening of It Ends With Us with Colleen Hoover there. And this, again, was another thing that was like so nerve-wracking, because they had to approve like all of our questions. And like they were like, "You're going to get like 10 minutes. And I was like, 10 minutes? Like, when it's like a Q&A after a thing, usually it's at least like half an hour, at least in or 20 minutes. So we were really nervous, but we had such a great conversation with Colleen. I felt like, and she said some things that were so nice. Like she talked about the first time she met us, that filming that interview. And that was so sweet. And like when we first saw her before we even went in, she was like, "Oh my God, I've been stalking the pictures of your sister's wedding." I was like, "Oh my God."
I think she said at the trailer thing, she's like, "Oh my God, Natasha, all the things that you make are just so beautiful."
She was so nice. Oh, yes. And like at the trailer thing, I remember like whoever was like being her publicist person, like handler was like, "Oh, she's going to do something," and she looked over and she was like, "Oh, hi." We got to talk to her because she knew us. I was like, "We know her."
We're like, "See."
But anyway, and then the other beautiful part of the screening was that we got to offer the tickets, like 10 or was it 20 tickets, and so we can give 10 of our patrons or listeners a free ticket to this early screening, and then we got to have ice cream with them after a chat. It was so nice. Yeah.
At that New Zealand ice cream place.
Yeah. And no, it was such a nice night. And the next morning I woke up and like drove down to you and we drove down to San Diego.
Oh, it was so fun. It felt so nice to have like an opportunity and just to be recognized for like the work that we've been putting into something for almost a decade. So
yeah. And like to have it be the podcast, be like our new thing that we're doing, be recognized like officially, was a really big like landmark moment for
and
us
also
in
working
general.
with Spotify.
Yeah. Well, just like being acknowledged that we exist by Spotify was really cool.
So these are like my top favorite things that happened this year. I got to go to the Bridgerton premiere in New York City. And this was because Taya was interviewing the cast on the carpet. And obviously, I'm a huge Bridgerton fan. And
obviously,
Taya found out while we were in New Zealand. And she told the boys. And she's like, I'm going to try to get Tasha to come. And so like she pitched me to Netflix. And then one morning after, I was like so anxious about like my whole breast situation. And she called me and she woke me up and she's like, hey, what are you doing on this date? And I was like, nothing, I'm free. And she's like, do you want to go to the Bridgerton premiere with me in New York? And I was like, what? And that was just so exciting. But it was such a wonderful like little trip that we took because we both flew together to New York. Like we hadn't really done like a one-on-one trip, I don't think ever. We just got back from doing New Zealand. It was so fun just to spend that time with her. And so the day of the premiere, so we got in the day before of the premiere, and then we stayed up so freaking late that evening, like high on life, like, you know, because we were on West Coast time. So by the time we went to bed, it was like 3:00 in the morning, and we were just talking and chatting. I think like we FaceTime Christine at one point.
Yeah.
And then we wake up, we like try to get up early. It didn't happen. And then finally the freaking fire alarm in the hotel goes off and I jump out of bed. I was like, no, that means we have to get out of this hotel room and walk down to the street. Like, I don't want to do this. And then I was like, hold on. I think it's just like, I don't think it's real. And unfortunately it was like a mistake. So thank God. But we got ready in the hotel. Taya was nervous. Like she does like a lot of like Marvel superhero stuff. You know, I'm the one who like had her watch Bridgerton. Mm-hmm. This was like the first time like a very like female centered piece of media that she was covering. We got on the carpet and I felt like a press manager. I was like, I had my little like paper out and I had all the people on it, but of course I didn't need it because I knew everyone. And like as they were coming down, I felt like Anne Hathaway in The Devil Wears Prada. I was like, that's so and so, and they do this and they play this, and this is the new character that they're playing, and like I would just like whisper it at her in her ear.
And she was like, with a bag.
What?
Oh, it's in Veep. There's also someone like that who leans over and tells the vice president everything every time she sees anybody.
Yes. So I told Taya like when we go to premieres nowadays, like we don't do press. Like this felt like back in the day when like Big Honcho used to hire us to like go do press on the side for a movie, or like when Christine and I did Vampire Academy. Like this felt like those times, because typically when we go to premieres now, we just get to go like early before all the talent comes in, and then maybe we might see them at some point. Like we're at least in the room with them when we get to see the movie early. This time, like everyone was walking down that press line. I got to like see or meet every single person. So I told Taya, I was like, the only thing that I want is a video with me in the same frame that Nicola Coughlan is in. Okay, that's all I want. If we can manage to get that. And so like we get that video, but also like before that, there's just so many wonderful people who come down the way. The two interactions that I had was with Eloise and then Nicola Penelope. This is all on my TikTok, but Eloise, why am I forgetting her real name?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Either.
She was like hot. Like she took a moment. Okay. And she was like talking to our friend next to us who like flew out from London. And then she like turned to Taya, and Taya was just like sitting there with her teacup. And she's like, oh, let me, hold on one second. And she like takes it, she's like, oh, I'm just so hot. And so like I come forward out of my like depth in the background, and I'm like, here, I have a fan. And she just called me angel from above. And she like looked back at us because the two, like Taya and our friend, were up front, and then the two of us, like the camera girls, were in the back, and we were all like dressed to the nines. And she's like, oh, you guys all look fabulous. And it was really fun. But then like Nicola came down the carpet, and she was the last person there. Like she shut down the whole carpet. And this moment, again, is on video, but I had no idea that Taya was going to introduce me to her. And that was just so wonderful. Like, I told her, I'm like, this is all I want. And she went above and beyond. She's like, and this is my friend Natasha. Like, she adores you. And I was like, oh my God, wait, this is happening? Holy shit. Oh my God, am I going to be able to talk to Nicola? Okay, it's going on. It's happening. I didn't know that she called me heaven until I rewatched the video like 5 times. I was just like rewatching the moment. And she goes, heaven. And like it's like she's like, this is my friend Natasha and she is heaven. And
Aww.
it was just so sweet. Also, the actress who plays Eloise's name is Claudia Jessie. Thank you, Katie.
Nice.
So that was like the best thing ever, that whole New York trip. And then we got to go to the after party and we talked to Colin and we got to like dance with Lady Danbury and Mama Bridgerton, and it was so fun. It was just a magical, wonderful night. And I like one of the best premiere experiences I've ever had. And also like meeting Andy Serkis there randomly was so fun. And like the way Tay and I were just out of our minds. We were like, this is the best. And then the next day we went to go to the Plaza Inn for high tea. Just a wonderful time.
So number 22 here. Was a little moment, but I remember it so fondly because Olivia's bachelorette party was in Miami this year, and there was like, you know, a lot of typical wedding drama stuff leading up to the bachelorette party, and like a lot of different like planning things that were really stressful and expensive. But like my favorite part of the entire bachelorette party was sitting on the beach with her close friends that I've known since they were like little girlies in like first grade, and my cousins Holly and Caroline that I hang out with all the time, and we were all just going around saying a funny story about like a memorable moment with Olivia, and we were all just like laughing hysterically because, you know, Olivia as a child was really fucking weird. There's a lot of stuff. And one of her friends was talking. Well, she talked briefly about how Olivia used to sleepwalk, and then I would like elaborate on Olivia's sleepwalking because it was a huge thing. That every time at the shore house when like someone was sleeping over, we'd be like, "Is Olivia gonna sleepwalk tonight?" Because Olivia would do things like sing "These Boots Are Made for Walking" and like wash the wall when she was asleep. Oh yeah, have I never told you these stories? She'd get up and like do DDR.
What's
and, like,
DDR?
You know that dancing with the mats
Dance
on
Revolution?
PlayStation? Dance Revolution. One time she got up and like took her pants down and like she was gonna pee and then fell on the floor. Like one time she'd be like, she'd just talk about like people she has crushes on. Like, and it was just like very entertaining for whoever was sleeping over, but like everyone would like be like, is it real though? And then she finally was like, okay, I was a middle child, what do you expect from me? Like looking back, like it wasn't real. She was putting on shows. It was like every time someone slept over, it would happen, and it would always start like, and I'd be like, "What's happening, guys?"
Would you just like watch as it happened?
Yeah, we were on bunk beds. I was on the bunk above her, and the guests would always be, there's bunk beds, and then there was a full-size bed like in the room too. So like the guests would usually be on the full-size bed, and it would usually be like 2 of my cousins who were sisters, or like her friend and my friend, and it was just a show every night. Sometimes she'd say really embarrassing shit, so I'd be like, is it real?
Is that when you did the Jeopardy game?
That was really fun too. That was the night before, and that was really great. I made like the episode of Friends with the Jeopardy. I made that for like Olivia, so there was all these categories about like her love life and like her family and like her miscellaneous and all that stuff, and that was really fun as well. Also, I realized like I know the most about Olivia. I was like, how do you not know this simple fact?
You know what I want to do is, I was just thinking about this. I really want to do like a best friend versus sibling face off with the 2 of us. Like
Best friend versus sibling face off.
like you and Alex.
Oh,
And then like
that would be
me
fun.
and Paul, or me and Olivia, whoever.
Yeah.
I think that would be really funny.
That would be funny.
All right, so this is my last moment. This is my favorite moment of the year. And this is so funny. Did I just put, you know how we used to do favorite moment of the day? Is this from that?
I mean, no, I was doing top 24 moments of 2024, but like we've been saying it like that because of
the way I used to
the
say
song.
it.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
So I got to go on a dream trip this year to New Zealand, and it was only a week of my life, but it was some of the most heartwarming, dreamiest, most fulfilling adventure I think I've been on in a long time, because this was my first big trip with my twin brother. And Alex had never left the country before. He had to get a passport, and we had been talking about this trip. Like, this is like we've always wanted to go to New Zealand, and we've always wanted to go to Hobbiton, and like literally been talking about this with my parents for ages and ages. And then like we finally got to do it because we had like we got to experience Hobbiton in a different way than I think we had ever even thought we could, because my friend Becca and her husband Gage got married in Hobbiton. Like, we shut that place down. Like, we got to live as if we were hobbits. I mean, I wasn't a hobbit. I was like dressed as like a fairy, or an elf, like at the venue. But it didn't just start there. Like, we flew into Auckland. Like, we had a huge 12-hour flight. Alex had never been on a transatlantic or trans-Pacific whatever flight before. Like, he like, it was just so fun to experience all of the joys of traveling abroad with someone for the first time. And we like flew into Auckland and then had like a little like jumper jet to Wellington. We flew into Wellington and we were there. So like our plan was we were gonna fly into Wellington and then drive up and do this big road trip. Like, I've told a lot of stories from New Zealand, but I told two big ones. But there's like some stuff like I haven't even shared on Instagram yet. Like I really want to go back and like take people through that trip, because it was just such a wonderful time. The main thing I want to talk about, this one little story, because there's so many, is we had a road trip from the south of the North Island all the way up to Hobbiton, and it was on the map. It was supposed to take us like 6-7 hours, and we were trying to make it up there in time for like the rehearsal dinner thing. This is first time Alex has driven on the wrong side of the road, on the wrong side of the car. Like, he was ready for it. He was really good. Like, I remember when we first got like the vehicle, we were like, okay, everyone. And we also traveled with Taya and her boyfriend at the time, Liam, like our friend Liam. It was so fun because we were just like talking up this trip forever and ever and ever. But on this road trip day, the reason why we went all the way down to Wellington is because we wanted to see all of the filming locations. And that's where like What a Workshop is down there. And so we got to do all of that. But as we were driving, we're like, okay, we can hit like a couple filming locations as we're going up. And this reminded me of when Christine and I and Amy like went to the Forks trip, and we're just driving around looking at things that and being in locations that we knew, like, that were just ingrained in our minds, like burned into it, because we love those movies so much.
But when you're there, it's just like a random area.
Yes.
In the middle of nowhere.
You're like, all right, I have to envision it somehow. So we got up super early and we're driving along. So we knew this is what we were going to do. We were going to hit Gollum's watering hole. And this is where he sings the Juicy Fish song. So Juicy Sweet. And I think that is in Two Towers. We were also going to see Mount Doom and the volcano that they used as Mount Doom. So we're driving about like 4 hours in, we've had to stop for like gas and like food at this point, and like we're all kind of crammed and like wanting to get out. And we come along this bend, and it's like it's April, so it's their fall, and the clouds clear, and we see this ginormous just mountain in the middle of New Zealand, and we're all like just aghast. It was so beautiful. It's like kind of seeing like Mount St. Helens for the first time.
Yeah.
And like the whole top was
Doesn't feel real.
No, the whole top was like covered in snow, and it wasn't Mount Doom, okay? Because it was on the other side, but like we had to drive around this entire mountain, and it just, the landscape in New Zealand changes. Like they have desert, like it's very much like it's very similar to, I guess, the United States, where we have a lot of different, like California too, like different
areas of climate.
Yeah, so it's like very tropical, then deserty, and then like wintry, and so like we see this mountain, and we're driving around it, and we're getting closer to Gollum's watering hole. So we turn off the road, and we're like driving down this little road, and we're looking at the time. We're like, oh shit, I don't know if we're gonna make it to like this thing, because we want to see Mount Doom and the watering hole. So we kind of made a decision. We're like, all right, I don't think we're gonna make it to this rehearsal dinner thing. It's okay, because like we have to be up really early the next morning for the wedding. Like the next day was the wedding. I get like really worried about like physical activity just with my body. Like when Christine and I went to London, and I got like all up in my head about all those steps we had to walk up at Mount Michelle. Is that what it's
St. Michael's Mount?
St. Michael's Mount. Yeah. And I was like, how? And we had to like hike down to this watering hole. I was like, what is it going to be? Like, I'm so nervous. You know how I get. And so we're just walking down, and I'm just thinking like, oh God, walking up is going to be like treacherous going by. And there's like a waterfall, and I haven't seen like a waterfall in a really long time. And there's all these rocks, like a lot of people are down there, and we have to walk, like basically climb over all of these rocks to see this pool and the waterfall. So everyone starts climbing up, and I'm climbing up there as well. And I get to the tippity top of like where you can see the watering hole. Like it's a beautiful view. See the watering hole, see the waterfall. It's not very big. Like it's probably about the size, like the watering house is like the size of like a normal house. And then the waterfall is like probably about like 10, 11 feet. And I just sit there, and I'm like, this is just so beautiful. Like I've never seen nature like this before. And it's so worth it. And then everyone starts climbing down. I'm like, you know what? I think I've met my limit. I'm going to sit here and observe and just ponder this space. And everyone climbs down, and like Taya and the boys start like reenacting the whole like juicy sweet thing, and I'm like recording from up on the rock. And like at one point, like Taya's like all crouched down, and she like puts her hand in the water and like acts like she's grabbing a fish. But that was one of my, I think, just like such a really pretty moment. I did enough physical activity to make myself feel like I have accomplished something. And after that, we drove to Mount Doom, and we had to like really drive off the beaten path to get to it. And I sat there, we had to sit there and wait for like the clouds to move to see the peak of it. And they all started walking down and hiking towards it. And I was like, I'm going to stay here and see it from this view. Bye.
All right. The last moment, number 24 here for me here is the last stop of my book tour was in Orlando, Florida. And like the whole book tour, I was reconnecting with friends just like in every city that I haven't seen, that I like made through the internet, and it's been years, or from school and college. And like I would, carpool with them to the events or get dinner with them beforehand. And it was just like a beautiful time. Like it was just a tour of old friends that I got to catch up with. So in Florida, I was having dinner with my college roommate who I studied abroad with. Allison, and I had not gotten to like hang out with her since 2016. So it was like a much anticipated reunion, and it was just so much fun to catch up with her. And like we kind of fell into like that same rhythm that, you know, we used to have all the time. And then she came with me to the event, and we were meeting Robbie Weber, who's another author and also like book talk, bookstagrammer, YouTuber. And he was being the moderator for the event, but I had previously told him, like, can you come an hour earlier so we could do a Florida music video? And Allison was, you know, she was there in my days, my beginning YouTube days. Like, she was a part of all of my like crazy videos back in college. So like, remember that Office sketch I did, like the Office parody? I hadn't even watched The Office. I just called it the Office parody. But like, she was in that, and she was like in the flat apartment, and she was in London. So she was like there for all of that stuff. And I was like, would you want to be in it and like help film it and everything? And she was like, of course. And it just felt like college again, like doing a video with Allison, and Maureen showed up. And she helped a lot with like taking pictures and stuff during the event. And the event was sold out, and people kept messaging me being like, I want to go to the Orlando event, but they're sold out. Like, is there any way? And I'm like, I'm only there for 5 seconds, so I can't do anything else. So I was sad that it was like, there was more people that wanted to come that wouldn't be able to make it. But like, it was also really, really nice and like very cool to see that the event was sold out. And maybe hopefully next time I get to go to Florida, it's a little bit of a bigger space so more people can be in there, because it was like an indie bookshop, which was so nice, but it was tiny. And that music video was the most fun to film of all the videos, because I was trained and tried. Like, I knew what worked and what didn't in terms of like getting the audience to work with me in the videos, because I'd done all the other stops. I'd done all my experience with the audience. And I think the music video beforehand came out so good, and then doing the Florida parts with the audience was so fun.
I also think like we all were like anticipating this one because we knew you were going to use Florida.
We knew Florida was coming, and everyone knew that I was like trying to do things with the audience at each stop. So it was so much fun. And at the end of it, like, I went back with Maureen. She came back to the hotel with me, and we ordered Subway and caught up, and it was just so nice. That also was the next morning. I got a DM from the winner of Survivor season 46, asking, I think she asked for my book. And I was like, yeah. It was so cool. So it was a great last stop of the tour. I had a really nice time in Florida. And yeah, I had a really nice time at every stop, honestly. I got to reunite with Jesse for the first time in 5 years in St. Louis, Missouri. I loved that stop too. I would have put that on here. New Jersey was great too. Got to meet patrons, got to meet Laura and Olivia and I think Sophie and everyone at the New Jersey stop. It was just like my family was there. Every stop was special. And I can't tell stories from all of them, but if you were there at any of these stops and I met you, just know that I had the absolute best time. They were all my favorite moments. And I feel so blessed and grateful that I was able to have those experiences this year.
Yeah.
So those are our top 24 moments of 2024. I can't believe it's going to be 2025. So I wanted to quickly kind of talk about the podcast this year. And let's just kind of skim through what was our favorite episodes to record. What was your most memorable episode that we recorded?
Well, you took my favorite.
I know. Well, this is both of our favorites. The Frankensteining a book boyfriend episode. This episode was so fun and so chaotic, and we were all of us and Chloe were in person at your house.
It was a really hype episode this is hilarious too. Like, it's such a good episode, I think.
Yeah, no, it was so funny and so fun. It was like an improv game, and I was like, can we make this into an episode? Yes, we can.
I think the same thing for me is the we're dating Twilight characters, because that was like a fun improv, like, little thing. I think Chloe was on that too, right?
Yeah, it was the three of us. Yeah, it was so fun.
Ugh, it was so fun. Also, the 30 things we learned before 30.
Solid.
It's a solid episode. We did YouTube by ourselves all the time, but it's been so much more fun having a dialogue, having a conversation about something and working off of somebody. Like, that's why my vlogs were my favorite. It's because I never liked just to do things alone. Like, I liked interacting with people, and what we get to do now on the podcast is my favorite thing.
Yeah, the back and forth is so much fun, and like really having time to like take apart a subject and dig into the wells of all the different niches of what we can discuss.
We started reading House of Flame and Shadow together because we took chapter chat out of the podcast. We made it its own show. Unfortunately, it got to be too much for us to handle. But like, we definitely want to finish it and move on and continue the series. It's just Christine's on deadline. I'm about to go to cosmetology school, so it's a lot for us right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the goal in the future when we like expand the podcast, and it's a huge part of our job income, and we can put like lots of stuff into it. That's our future, like, pie in the sky goals.
Yes.
But like, we can do multiple shows, like when we have a structure like that, when there's like people editing and like we have organization, and we can schedule more of our time into the podcast, knowing that like we are making a good chunk of our living off of this, and we don't have to worry about doing 50 other things. Yeah. But right now we do have to juggle lots of jobs because this is a small portion of our income, and we're so grateful that it's any portion of our income because it's so much fun. But hopefully in the future we can really concentrate more on it and do more things, because we had so much fun delving into chapter by chapter. It was just like we did not have the time to do the analysis we wanted to before the show started.
Yeah. It was too much. But we do have all of ACOTAR all done.
We do. One of them is all done.
We didn't even finish ACOMAF.
I know, well, because we were going to put it back on after
House of Flame and Shadow.
House of Flame and Shadow.
We bit off too much more than we could chew.
We bit off more than we could chew long term. We're chewing it pretty good for like 2 months.
Yeah. And we're like, this is a lot.
And then we burned out. Favorite episodes according to, like, so we took a poll on our Instagram at Those Four King Fangirls, and it seems like everyone, the episodes that got the most votes for favorites were the Ask Me Anything episode, which we should definitely do another one of those in 2025. Yeah. The TTPD breakdowns, episodes 71 and 72, which were really fun. The live from Romance Con, which we talked about, the live smut episode with Julie and Sierra. And the History of BookTube episode that we just put out was the other one that everyone really loved.
Yeah, that, I mean, like, we knew getting Kat back to, like, all three of us getting back together was going to be an event. And we're just so glad that everyone else was, like, so happy with it, too.
Yeah. I mean, like, our the favorite episodes, like, according to views and listens, are a little different than the ones according to, like, people voting. But, like, BookTube, that BookTube History is our most listened to episode of the year already. And it just went out last week. And then 30 Lessons Before 30, and then the Tortured Poets Department.
Wow. The 30 Lessons Before 30 is so fun that's so high up there.
Yeah. No, I loved making that one too. I know that's on your list, and that's why I didn't put it on mine. But like, that one was so fun to make. And maybe we can do it again when I hit 35.
Katie says my fave was the Bridgerton Part 1 episode. The guest was so charming and funny and insightful. Can't remember her name for some reason.
That was a great episode. Yeah, another one that was
I forgot
surprisingly.
that I read the first. Oh,
the first what?
sorry. I
Oh.
forgot that I read the first 2 Bridgerton books this year.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Another one that like was not surprisingly popular because I think it's a fun topic, but like it kind of like hit a random audience in YouTube. The quitting dating one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was fun too.
that one was popping off. Also, we had like our first 2
viral videos on
viral-
Instagram and TikTok.
yes.
Yeah.
And it was about the Sarah J. Maas and Margot Robbie meeting.
And Cho Chang.
And Cho Chang. So,
And Bridgerton.
congrats to Chloe.
Yeah. Congrats to Chloe for cutting those clips. They were great. And we definitely have to cut more clips of the news because people like to hear the news. And I think it brought a lot of people to the Instagram, which is great because that trickles back to the podcast. If you guys came from that, we are so grateful to have you here.
Love you.
All right, let's wrap this up with a Merry Kiss Cliff.
All right, my turn this year. This episode.
This year.
I was just thinking of all the things that we did and tried to narrow it down to very broad. All right. Mary Kiss Cliff. Flights, car rides, or staying home?
Ooh, that's a hard one. That's a really
I
hard
know.
one. I mean, I got married staying home. And kiss car rides and cliff flights? I mean, like, are we
Okay.
talking about enjoyment factor or like the results?
I think the results.
Oh, well, I love
That's how I
going
was doing.
places, but I also
but
don't.
I hate flights.
I hate flights. I know, this is hard. What are you going to do?
I know. I mean, right. I think I'm just going to marry staying home because it's so comfortable.
I know, it's
But
so
I think-
cozy.
I think I'm going to kiss flights. And unfortunately I have to kill car rides
But
or
I
cliff
do
them.
love
But
when I can
but
drive to something.
I do too. But sometimes it gives me a little bit more anxiety than flights do. I don't know. Does it?
Because you could put everything in the back. Like, I like that we could drive to Comic-Con.
Yeah, it was nice. And we could leave whenever we wanted to on our own time.
Yeah, the control.
I don't know. This one's hard. Sorry.
I think I got to stick with mine. Cliff flights. Even though I love arriving at my destination and being in a new place. In Tea Time today, we'll be talking kind of about like goals for next year and what we're proud of that we did this year. So that'll be fun, and it's available at the Patreon if you're interested. And we are so very grateful that we had you with us this year. Thank you for being on the ride with us, and we hope to see you in 2025 for season 3. Our podcast is edited by Vigard, Natasha Polis, Alex Polis, Christine Riccio, Ricky McBrayer. Lots of people come in and edit for us, and they're wonderful. Our socials are run by Chloe Laverson. She's wonderful. Make sure you're following us at Those Four King Fangirls on Instagram or on TikTok at Those Four King Fangirls. And of course, we're on YouTube at Those Four King Fangirls. And then our music is by Cole Jenkins with vocals by Heather Traska. And we release new episodes every single Friday. I'm Christine.
I'm Natasha.
And we hope you have an amazing new year and a wonderful holiday season. Bye, everybody.
Bye.